Okay, we've made it to the results section. So this section is the one that people usually skip right to. And as you can see from what we talked about from the rest of the article, you really don't want to do that. If you skip right to the results section, then you don't know what it is that the authors actually did to get their results. So you definitely want to make sure to read those methods first before you get to the results section. So they talk here about how they have different tables, descriptive statistics. So they basically just tell you what's in their sample, what are the frequencies for the people in their sample. And then they have regression results. So those regression results, we want to talk about how to interpret that, because logistic regression is very common, but it's not something that we usually talk about how to interpret. So you see here it says, compared to naturalized citizens, legal permanent residents have 47% lower odds of past year care utilization, OR 0.53. Okay, so what that means is that they studied two groups, legal permanent residents versus naturalized citizens, and then the dependent variable was, did they use healthcare across borders, yes or no? So that's what a logistic regression is used for, when you have a dependent variable that just says yes or no. And so for legal permanent residents, their answer of did they use healthcare utilization was 0.53 in terms of the odds compared to naturalized citizens. So that means if you think about naturalized citizens' use of healthcare as 1, then legal permanent residents would be 0.53. Now the actual number might not be 1 and 0.53. It might be 2 and 1.06, and that would be the same odds when you standardize it to 1 and 0.53. It's really more of a ratio comparison. So it's like equivalent fractions if you think about that, like 1/2 is the same as 2/4. That's what we're talking about with odds ratios. So the number, you don't really find out here, how much utilization there was, how many times they went across the border, anything like that. All you can know is whether or not they did. And if naturalized citizens, their use is at 1, then legal permanent residents are at 0.53. So hopefully that helps you interpret these models and tables when you go through. And you can see here the tables are presented so that they give you the weighted and unweighted data. So unweighted means just the numbers, that 2,700 and something for the sample that they had. When they talk about weighted data is when you take that 2,700 people and then you apply multipliers for it, so that now that 2,700 represents the entire full population of however many millions of people you're talking about in the United States. So what weighting does is it uses census data to kind of adjust for any biases in your sample. So if you look here, it says out of the unweighted, the female percent was 1,367, and that weighted percentage is now 47.4. So they make sure to get the percentages to match what the weighted data should tell you. Okay. So here's some more results walking through here. And again, please look at this a little bit more closely for the discussion post. But if you notice here, it says appendix, these odds ratios are reported in appendix tables. So those can actually be found all the way down here where you see there's more tables after this text.